welcome to another edition of the Musical Heatwave. This week we speak to a promoter plus a key engineer. But first, one of the hottest songs around at the moment, and the lady is Queen Ifrica, soon to be here in UK.
Me and my lover just always a fight, but him know where for do for make my smile get bright. We war on him left and no come back till late in the hours with a bunch of the nicest flowers. Even though me vex, still me blood a boil. One look below the waist and me humble like a child. Can't help it, me couldn't hide the feeling. Plus him a thrill me with the most sweet talking. You know me not gonna knock you down, baby. Now me just want to hold you down, baby. Him say go on go put on your tongue, baby. And before you know it is another baby. You know me now go box you down, baby. Now me just want to hold you down, baby. Him say go on go put on your tongue, baby. And before you know it is another baby. This hardest thing about a quarrel is when everything don't work out right. But if you got anything like me and for me babes, when even when me just done my listen for days and I swear say me I go left if him not change him tricky ways. We love for one another, make everyone amazed. The children believe in everything he says. We only going through a phase, so come tell me sorry soft in my ears. You know me not gonna knock you down, baby. Now me just want to hold you down, baby. Him say go on go put on your tongue, baby. And before you know it is another baby. You know me not gonna knock you down, baby. Now me just want to hold you down, baby. Him say go on go put on your tongue. And before you know it is another baby. A real man, so me not fi run him head. No man can't come in on me bed. So even if you always see me argue about most of the things when enough man no want do, like feel bout with the kids pay the bills on time. Then I stay up me house when me just done shine. Me can't search your phone but you want search mine. A war when the whole of that combine. You know me not gonna knock you down, baby. Now me just want to hold you down, baby. Him say go on go put on your tongue, baby. And before you know it is another baby. You know me now go box you down, baby. Now me just want to hold you down, baby. Him say go on go put on your tongue, baby.
The fabulous Queen Ifrica and Below the Waist. Okay, are you ready? You ready? Good. Musical Heatwave coming at you. The music business has always been male-dominated. Despite that, for the past 25 years, one female has held her own and has succeeded in promoting some of the finest reggae shows right here in the UK. From the heavy sounds of Shaka to roots and culture of Johnny Clark. Most recently, Nicky Ezer was a key player on the team that brought reggae to Newcastle when the Bus Sounds Festival rocked the city for 2 days. She's currently organizing nights at the Barbican for more giants of reggae. Musical Heatwave caught up with her and asked her a few questions, starting with what's the general reaction when people meet you for the first time?
People are surprised that someone like me has a sort of passion, because that's what it is. And I've tried to stop working the last few years, thinking I don't know if I can keep the pace up. And I have taken on some other projects, you know, like venue management that I do in London. But I can't stop because it's in my soul. And I think what I've tried to do, going back 20 years, because I loved reggae music from a very young age, was to basically create shows and events which were accessible to everybody.
Indeed.
And when we look at the work I've done with Shaka, for example, we know that he used to play to far more sort of insular crowds.
Indeed.
And what we did at the Rocket was open out his work and make everybody feel welcome. And I do think with culture promotion shows, that's always been the aim. Keep reggae music popular and make it accessible to everybody, all communities, all ages.
And of course, not just in the UK, but taking it abroad as well, which you've done.
Yeah, I suppose I work with lots of festival projects. I've helped program Montreux Jazz Festival because they now have a reggae night, and we do reggae around the world.
So modest.
We do reggae around the world, and I take specific artists and projects and do the best we can. You know, that's all we can do.
Thank you, Nicky. And now an artist we haven't heard from in a long while, but he's back with a vengeance. A hot sound from Courtney, Bad Boy Melody.
I'm just like the rain, 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 falling down. just like the stars that shine so bright in your life, baby, yeah. But I've got to fight to keep this love alive between me and you, yeah, boy. Every day we fuss and fight, lovers fight, yeah, baby, boy. Sometimes you cry, and I don't know why. Tears keep running from your eyes, boy, yeah. I'm just like the rain, 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 falling down on you, baby. I'm just like the rain, 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 falling down on you, baby. Boy, your daddy don't like me at all, and I know your mommy maybe too, yeah. But I'm loving you, that's what I love to do, baby, boy. I don't care what nobody wanna say, I don't care what nobody wanna do, I'm always loving you, yeah, boy. You've got the love I've been searching for so long, so long, so long, so long, baby. I'm just like rain, 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 falling down on you, yeah. I'm just like the rain, 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 falling down on you, baby. Boy, I don't wanna be outside looking in and see you with somebody else, baby. I love you day and night, and I don't know why you always love to cry. I'm just like rain, 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 falling down on you, yeah. I'm just like the rain, 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 falling down on you, yeah. I'm just like the rain,
Okay, so what happens from here on in for culture promotion? For Nicky?
For me, I try and have a slightly more chilled life and not do so much, but I'll keep doing it. And definitely working on Boss Sounds for next year. 2008, and we will do more publicity in other cities because I really hope we can do some sort of coach parties. Sounds a bit old-fashioned, but I think people need to get to Newcastle and make it easy for them so we can double our audience.
Absolutely, because I think a lot of the media needs to know more about festivals such as this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most
And apart from that, I'll carry on working with Horace Andy, Just Shaka, Johnny Clark, and keep the music popular.
Right. And is there a website we can get in touch with you?
Culturepromotions.com.
Say that again?
Culturepromotions.com.
All right, wonderful. Nicky, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Great.
This is the musical heatwave. Can you hear me? Now hear me. It is the musical heatwave. Listen to me. Hey, come on, people. Right on, yeah. Get on board on this musical heatwave. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's for real, and you can feel.
We're talking to Errol Brown, one of Jamaica's finest studio engineer. I mean, he's worked with anybody, any name you care to mention in the music business, from BBC to you have the Sensations, Bob Marley, Burning Spear, Glen Brown. Who else? There's so many people. Culture, Dean Fraser. The list is endless. The list is endless, and the techniques,
So many names, so many names. You know, it's just a joy to actually be able to talk to you and get your side of the story, you know, because we always hear the artist's point of view, and we never get to find out the man who's behind some of our unsung heroes, which you are one of them, because a lot of people don't know much about Errol Brown. You know, they'll see the name on probably some of the albums, you know, but what does Errol Brown do? What your part you played in the whole foundation of Jamaican music, you know? History couldn't be written and don't have Errol Brown's name in it. So you were introduced to Bob Marley by Marcia Griffiths. You ventured down to Tough Gong, and you opened this massive board which sort of blew your mind, coming from your 16-track mixer, as it were.
I was scared, man. 16 channel, not even 16 channel, 8 track. Yeah, I was scared when I said I never even know if I was gonna do it, because boy, I don't know. And I just got brave and keep going. And this engineer Alex Sadkin was there, and I check it out and I keep learn a lot more, you know. Because every day learning, up to today learning.
Tell me about how you brought the experience you had working at Treasure Isles with a smaller studio, you know, that the recording techniques probably a bit outdated. Well, I say outdated, not as up to date as where you were at Tough Gong, and still manage to give us some of the most brilliant sounds you ever want to hear in reggae music.
Well, in those days, what I actually did, you know, I remember. We usually use 3 mics on the drums, like kick, snare, and hi-hat, you know. But yes, the snare mic would pick up the toms. And so what I did normally after the musician gone, I just play it over with my hand and take out the toms off the snare track. Yeah. And the drum roll, and take out the rim separate and put on the next track. So I create my song. So I learned the hard way, because there was no noise gate or anything like that. I have to just play over the drum myself and dump it on the next track while I'm playing it. So it's that helped with the quality in those days.
So you were there was lots of experimenting going on.
Yeah, well, those days I never joked to experiment, because, you know, it was in me, you know, because I usually play sound system and know what I wanted to hear and all that. So I'd go for it. And my uncle usually liked to hear the rim, because in those days, and he never usually hear the rim shot in. It was like one drop, always have a rim. The rim shot drop with the kick drum. Couldn't get it, but I just get it out, and it worked.
Of course, Errol, while the style of music in Jamaica was changing, the technology was changing, and also we had the change from, we had a reggae, we had rocksteady, and we had a reggae, and then the early 70s, you know, we have the one drop, and we had the culture sounds coming through, which you played yet another big part in, because linking up with Bob Marley was basically the start of another revolution, so to speak.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it was more experiment, and to me it was easier to, you know, at the same time, because now you have all of these tracks, 24 tracks, so you can play around with the drum, different mics and different drum and all that, so it was easier. But at the same time, I still clean up the tom tracks and the snare track just to get the right sound, a clean sound. Because I can't take dirt. I can't take that out. It's like refined music.
What do you think is the key to getting the right sound, you know, on a song, for instance?
Proper EQing of the drums, proper EQing and the right mic and the right tuning. So it's a thing between the musician and me. Because them have to tune the drum properly, and them have to understand what when I communicate to them. Because you have some drummer who play the hi-hat loud and the snare soft, and then pure hi-hat go on the snare track. So you know, them have to understand when I explain. Ease up the pressure of the hi-hat, play the snare harder, you know.
So you know what, Tough Gong, Tell me about working with Bob, because you were involved right from the start on one of his major albums.
Well, the thing about it, up to today, I'm not starstruck, right? I mean, everybody's the same to me. So, I mean, it never really changed my feelings so much. I just work like, working with John Holt, or, it never really, I'm not a starstruck person, because that's who I am. So I just work, and it was a pleasure, it was a pleasure.
I'm Nicky, Cultural Promotions. The message is keep roots music popular. Big up Musical Heatwave every time.
News on the hour. A family of 8 burned to death in Mountain View yesterday, heaving the homicide rate to a staggering 1,405, 66 less than last year's record-breaking body count, with just under 2 months remaining in the year.
Yeah, gotta stay conscious. Shaka. Yo, gotta get my bread, gotta keep my head up. These are the days when they got them in them teens of the needs. No youth, no have degrees, but them have the grades. Picture this and try to see it with your knees. These are the times, yeah, when the sneakers into only 9s. Somewhere call upon Jesus and them commit the crimes. No illiterate and still I read between the lines. Those are the dudes. Claim them are your friend, I want your food. Then some of them are rob white, some of them are rape white, some of them are kill white, some of them are shooters like we need a rated car upon the These are the days when you can't trust police with them dirty ways. Juvenile are on the streets with the case. Yo, you can't even rest in peace in your grave. Every day the same different gal, same different flow, same spit, different jugs, same ship, same busy, different hits with different messages, reaching out to everyone in all different communities. Yet these are the things that make a DJ wanna sing. Me can't believe the baby mother dash the Britney in the thing we putting in. Baby father beat her with the thing we're listening. These are the days you have to hustle in the streets like a slave. Then the boss I work the least, get the raise. You know, she said the leaders will step up the pace. Listen to these facts. Who know have a Smith and Wesson have a Glock. Kappa whistle smart, they mix it when you hear it stop. Another mother ball while she suffer the loss. Welcome to these streets. Chalk line, white sheet, regular receipt. The less fortunate get treated like some refugees. But don't get fed up, keep your head up, stay on your feet. Right now we're at a stage. This day and age is like we're locked up in a cage. And me I tell you, said the system need to rearrange. It's kinda strange. Me want to buy a range, but the price out of...
Tell me how you went about finding that particular sound that Bob Marley would like, and also his fans would go out and buy the music, and of course you yourself had a vibe on it.
Well, I just went for the sound what I really wanted to get at Treasure Island. I don't change. I went for that sound and just put it and it worked. They love it. I mean, if you play in a Bob Marley song, if you play Uprising, Confrontation, and those songs, it sounds like it just record.
Sure. Which you had a big part.
Yes. I was ahead. To me, I was ahead with the sound.
Now, I want to ask you about the change in technology, because that came about and kind of threw everybody into a bit of a panic as to...
You mean Pro Tools?
Yeah.
Matter of fact, it put me in a panic too. I don't know why. I remember one time I look at my son and said, boy, Shane, I have a son in the music business, but I train.
We know about Shane. I was going to touch on Shane.
Yeah, I said, Shane, I don't feel like I'm going to do this Pro Tools thing. I feel like I'm going to take a mellow down, I said, what? Oh, man. And I keep, shying from it until, matter of fact, you have this keyboard player named Michael Hyde. in Ziggy Marley. He played keyboard for Ziggy. And that's the first time when Ziggy went on his own now. That was the first time. And he had this album wanted to mix, and in front of book studio. I said, no, studio. And I know we're going on the road. I said, all right. In terms of have it on his laptop with Pro Tools. And I said, all right, well, we'll get to work together and mix it on the road, which we did, you know. And that is the time now when I start getting to the Pro Tools, because you teach him everything and it worked. And to me, there's not like Pro Tools. I wouldn't go back to analog right now.
Really?
No.
You've been this...
No, I wouldn't go back, because what Pro Tools do for me, you see, it made me, things what I wanted to do with analog, it come easy with Pro Tools now. Because as I was telling about all these drum things, because you know when the drum roll and then it play rim shot. Right now with Pro Tools, you just duplicate the track and rub out the roll, and you have the rim shot separate, and you can silence strip it, and you can get the ambience of the snare. Like when you play a fat snare, bong. Normally we use noise gate and take out the noise in between, but it cut the sound of the snare. So with Pro Tools now I can get that, and just I get the ambience from the snare and clean it up after, you know.
So you swear by your Pro Tools?
Yeah, I won't go back to analog. Trust me on that. Anyone bring analog to me for mix, I dump it to Pro Tools, and then if you want, I can put it back to analog for them.
Okay.
No more analog.
No, of course, mixing in the studio and mixing live is two different things. How do you work, and how do you compare to?
Well, listen, studio, you know something? I use the same formula in the studio, I use it live. The only thing what I do, I use the EQ and EQ the room and take over the overtone. Some room have this overtone in it, right? Like boom, boom. I use EQ and take out and EQ the room. Because I have a graphic equalizer there. And then every EQ that I set on a channel of drum channel, the same thing I set in the studio. Okay. So it's nothing different.
So you work according to the walls and ceilings and surroundings?
Yeah, the EQ, you carry that. That's why I EQ the room, I put in, motherfucker, I always use Bob Marley One Love. Okay. And set up my sound. And when I set that to the sound what I know on that CD, everything's smooth.
Okay. And everybody's happy?
Okay, no, everybody's happy. Sometimes I want every CD playing, if it's miming on stage, but, you know, but it's... So the same principle, not different.
I must ask you about Shane, because of course Shane, your son, is making a big impact on what's happening with dancehall music at the moment, and we're another journey into the music of Jamaica.
Well, Shane coming from the same way same place I come. I was more concentrated on Shane going to school, finishing his education. At the same time, he thinks I'm not paying him no mind because, you know, I just focused on school. But that was my main issue, school. And I'm not going to try and bring him in the studio. So I waited until he actually said, well, you go and look at a job, you know. And then I said, all right, you want a job? All right, I'll call him. I took him to Tough Gang, you know.
Yo, you watching Musical Heatwave, Mr. Lover says so. Ah, bombastic, fantastic. You get the picture. Yeah, don't move a muscle. Can't stop the hustle. Shaggy!
Don't forget, you can send your videos in by getting the info, email us, information coming up, or call the number 079-400-87535. Here's a hot video. It is Macka B.
Great, remember that. And when we say children, remember we are all children of the Most High. All you have to do is try. You're great, you'll get by. Hey, children.
Yes, Papa.
Always remember.
Yes, Papa.
That you are what?
The best, Papa.
And you are highly
blessed, Papa.
Children.
Yes, Papa.
Remember your greatness.
Yes, Papa.
Never underrate this.
No, Papa.
Shall we celebrate this?
Go, Papa.
Hey, never forget how great you are.
No, we won't.
Never forget how great you are.
No, we won't.
Never forget how great you are.
No, we won't.
Never forget how great you are. You're great, you know. Never let nobody ever try and underrate, you know. Teacher, you try to educate, you know. Shackles from your mind, you try to liberate, you know. I motivate, you know. Me say you're great, you know. Me know say you're great and me not guesstimate, you know. Rise from the gutter, me I try to elevate, you know. Enough for your head that me want penetrate, you know. Because you're great, you know. Say you were born great, but somewhere down the line, someone change your mind. Now it's time to rewind. Original design and give yourself time. Keep on looking, you'll find time to make your light shine. Children.
Yes, Papa.
Always remember.
Yes, Papa.
That you are what?
The best, Papa.
And you are highly
blessed, Papa.
Children.
Yes, Papa.
Remember your greatness.
Yes, Papa.
Never underrate this.
No, Papa.
Shall we celebrate this?
Go, Papa.
Hey, never forget how great you are.
No, we won't.
Never forget how great you are.